Hello, Trojan fans. Welcome to another edition of the Peristyle Podcast on a Thursday where we normally talk, or we've been trying to talk, before USC spring practice Thursday afternoon. I'm Ryan Abraham alongside Chris Trevino, but we just got word there's not going to be any practice this afternoon. So, I don't know, Chris, maybe we'll do a 4-hour show just like we did, like you guys do with Gerard Martinez. But probably not going to do that. But we want to talk all about USC spring football. We were both out there on Tuesday for the latest workout, talked to players and coaches, and want to give you an update and all that. If you have any questions or comments for the show, you can email us podcast@uscfootball.com. You can also call or text us at 424-254-9141. And if you have the Apple Podcasting app, please follow us at the Peristyle Podcast. Leave us a 5-star review with your comments, suggestions, questions, anything you got there. We do appreciate that. It helps to grow the show quite a bit, and it's also fun when we get to talk about cool USC football things, which we're going to be able to talk to today. And like I mentioned, alongside Chris Trevino here, wherever you're listening on the podcasting platform, we appreciate that. But if you're watching us live or even on replay over on our YouTube channel at Inside Troy, we thank you for doing that. We got the live stream going. You can put comments, suggestions in the chat box, and we'll be able to put them up on the screen as the show goes on. But Chris, welcome into the show. How are you doing today?
Good. We don't have practice, so that's a free day, a free afternoon, free evening for me, so I can go home and just watch baseball for the rest of the day until we have a commitment on hand to prepare for tonight. So, yeah, as you can see, I'm rocking the Orioles jersey. It's opening day as well, so just a lot going on today. And a lot not going on with no practice.
Yeah, it's a little different because we basically picked this time so we could like get in the studio, record the show, head over to practice, see what's going on. We got a lot of people in the chat box. I'm gonna put some of their comments up on the screen so everyone's giving some.
Do we have a lot of people in the chat
fight
box?
ons and yeah, we got A Cortman 17 just said fight on. Thank you for that. Yeah, thanks for everyone for joining in there. Yeah, we got a bunch of people in, and it's usually as the show goes on, more and more people kind of jump on. We have a couple new reviews over on the Apple Podcasting platform. 5-star reviews, which we love those. From New Men, 2-star, great show, GM and Chris. Must listen to the podcast. So, fan of the composite 2-star. Another one, Trojans number 5, Goat. I think he's referring to Reggie Bush, 5-star review. Composite 2-star and Peristyle Podcast, Alex Ruiz. Great show, guys. Been listening for a few years. Been through some tough times. Very informative and helpful regarding recruiting current players. Love you guys. Fight on. Oh, got a little love there.
He loves us.
And a Crazy Sean, 5-star review. I was listening to both of these podcasts, the Peristyle Podcast and Composite 2-star. Chris G. Mart and Shotgun are the best. Ryan, Chris G. Mart, and Shotgun are the best. He put my name in there.
Yeah, put yourself in there.
I don't want to
Put yourself in there.
pat myself on the back there. But we thank you for the reviews. We do appreciate that. We also want to thank our sponsor, Trader Joe's. Chris had a little gathering over the weekend. Had some people over, maybe a little sushi, which was nice. I just had I'd been in Hermosa Beach 25 years, which is crazy. But my mom came out, had some people over. Of course, I had to go to Trader Joe's, had all the snacks lined up. Those elote corn chips and the pretzels with the peanut butter inside and all that kind of stuff. But a bunch of Prosecco. We did some mimosas because it was like an Sunday afternoon thing. So I like picking up the Prosecco there. But some Pinot Noirs from their selection and some of the cool craft beers. So I went over to Trader Joe's and picked up a lot of fun stuff. So people were asking about like what these different snacks were and everything. So it's good. But yeah, Trader Joe's helped me out again. We sent a a gift card to one of our writers, Trevor, who lives out in Arizona. So he was excited. He said him and his girlfriend go to Trader Joe's a lot. So I know you go with your girlfriend too. So
Yeah, I had the orange chicken last night, late night after the composite 2-star recording. Just, something quick, something simple. Always hits when I'm hungry. So shout out to Trader Joe's.
I'm a big orange chicken fan. I think you've kind of got
Cornered the market. Yeah.
You got me. You keep them.
Apparently, I was invited to that sushi Trader Joe's snack party. I don't recall getting an invite. It's in my junk mail. I don't know. So I missed out. Is what I'm gathering.
Yeah. Chris, this is from Adrian. Chris, I'm saving the latest composite 2-star for my long drive to Lancaster tomorrow.
Okay.
But that could be interesting because there's some news that's going to happen between now and then, right?
For sure. Yeah, just a quick plug. Me and Gerard dropped a 2-star to set the tone for Duce Robinson Day, because today is Duce Robinson Day. The 5-star tight end will be making his commitment later this evening.
Yeah.
And yeah, you can listen to the podcast tomorrow. It will still, it'll hit a little bit different because we do set the tone for that announcement, but we still talk about Duce, what he brings to this offense, assuming the Trojans land his commitment, what he does for that tight end room, what he does for recruiting with the Dylan Raiola. So lots of things you can still listen to. It doesn't matter if you listen to it the next day, but it does hit a little bit better if you listen going into Duce's announcement later tonight.
All right. Well, so I guess, I don't know, save it for your drive, but
save it for the drive. There's still plenty of entertainment, but
yeah.
And he'll just know. He'll just be listening to us talk about the future, already knowing what has happened.
Yeah. All right. It's 5:30 p.m. It's 6:30 Mountain Time.
Well, is that so? Arizona doesn't do daylight savings, right? So doesn't that mean we are on the same
time? I thought Blair said.
But I thought Blair also said later, he told us that they actually don't do daylight savings time. So it is 6:30, but it also might be 5:30. I don't know. Time zones aren't my thing. Yeah. So if you know, then by all means tell us. But
time zones are fine, except when you don't acknowledge half of it. Like Hawaii and Arizona. I think Indiana might do the same, or India. I don't remember, something like that.
So it's either 5:30.
It's confusing. Just always be mountain or always be west. Don't do it when you want.
So it's either 5:30 or 6:30. That's the range. You just have to be aware. It could be 6:30. I don't.
Just be ready.
Just be ready. We'll find out at 5:30. Someone's going to tell us in the chat. Someone in Arizona right now will tell us in the chat.
Yeah, what time is it in Arizona? Is it tomorrow? Is it going to? Yeah.
But he is slated for 6:30 Mountain Standard Time.
Right.
Do with that information as you will.
Which I don't really know what that means.
Because we already lost an hour.
Right. Which is no fun. Losing hours is no fun. But you want the more daylight. I do like the more daylight. Before we jump into other stuff too, I just want to so if you guys all remember Max Turek, former USC offensive lineman, unfortunately passed away. They're doing their second annual Max's March, and it's going to be this Saturday, April 1st, in Rancho Santa Margarita. So he was great friends with Cody Kessler. I know Cody is going to be talking about this too. So that's going to be this Saturday. So you can go over to. I can give you I'll put it in the chat on YouTube, but it's classy.org/fundraiser/4466156. But I'll put it in our chat, and I'll try to put it in the notes for the show and stuff too, so you guys can get it for his march. So yeah, it's the whole. Just terrible, with the CTE and everything. He was such a great kid, and it's unfortunate, he passed away before. But I just wanted to. I was chatting with his dad, Greg, and they're doing the march this Saturday. So I wanted to put I put the link in the chat, and then I'll try to put it in the notes and stuff too, so you guys can do that. But otherwise, Chris, it is opening day for MLB. Are they doing the pitch count thing, or is that just for spring training?
Like the time you have to make a pitch. Yeah, I think that's
like a thing.
That's like the new rule. Yeah.
Okay, I just haven't followed all that much.
And I think there's no more shift, and the bases are bigger.
You can't shift anymore?
Yeah.
Ah.
Or it's like it's handicapped.
Something?
I've only followed baseball because of my fantasy team.
I was going to say, yeah.
Outside of that, don't really. But I think the bases are bigger for stealing. I think there's change to the shift rule. And, there's the pitch clock that you have 15 seconds and then 20 seconds if there's a man on base or something like that. There are probably bigger baseball fans in the chat that can
I'm sure.
clarify that.
I used to be a big baseball. It's like, I don't know.
You used to play baseball.
Yeah, back in the day.
You go to Dodgers games, right?
I go to some Dodgers games. I go to more Laker games.
Were you a Pirates fan?
I was always a Pirates fan, yeah. I mean, used to listen to like the Pirates on my transistor radio. I played Little League and all that kind of stuff growing up. But
what's a transistor radio?
It was like
I'm just joking.
Yeah.
Who's your favorite Pirate?
Probably Willie Stargell. Like he was. I mean, like Roberto Clemente was like before my time. But like when I was growing up, there was like Dave Parker, Willie Stargell. Start the pop. He was great. Later on, it was like kind of cool to see like Bobby Bonilla and Barry Bonds and stuff like back when they were actually good, and then they're not. But the stadium's really cool. Like PNC Park is great. I love going to Camden. Obviously, Camden sort of set the stage for like what modern parks would be, right? Like, one of my old writers, if you guys been around USCFootball.com a long time, you remember Dan Weike. He's from Chicago, huge White Sox fan, so I'd always tease him about how he likes the Cubs. He hates the Cubs. He likes the White Sox. But it was so funny. Was it the 90s, I guess it was, that early 90s? The White Sox built their new Comiskey, like the new park, and it was like all the old shit. Like it was all this big, terrible, that's, doesn't feel like you're at home kind of thing. And like within the year, Camden Yards came and changed the game. Everyone's like, this is the way parks should be from now on, where it's like got this kitschy thing, just the whole atmosphere is awesome, and it just feels like, doesn't feel like you're in a big warehouse or whatever. And you instantly put Comiskey Park, like it was like like you just built the stadium and basically it was like done. Like you're
dead on arrival.
It was like out. So I thought it was kind of. I always remember that about Camden Yards. But I've got to go there, stay in like the hotel where you're overlooking the. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I like going to baseball games and stuff. I think just working in sports has made me just less of a
sports fan.
Just because it's your job. But still love it. I still love. I'll watch stuff and everything. But yeah. Anyway,
I just want to rep the Orioles right now. So
are the Orioles going to be any good?
They'll be okay.
Yeah.
They got some young guys, so
I think the Pirates will stink probably.
Oh yeah, they'll stink.
They normally do.
But the Dodgers will be good, so LA fans will be happy, and then the Angels are poor Keely.
Oh, it's funny that they had like the two marquee names at the World Baseball Classic, and they're still going to be terrible. There was some meme where it was just like Team USA with Mike Trout and Team Japan with what was his name? I'm blanking on his name.
Ohtani?
Yeah, Ohtani, and they're like these big, strong, whatever the cartoon was picturing them, and then the Angels with both of the same team was just terrible.
Yeah,
it was just awful. Yeah. Well, let's talk some USC football. I took some pictures, so if you guys, I just put them up on the site today. I think this came up when we first started the show. I had this on accidentally, but how different the defensive line going to look? Keon Bars, Anthony Lucas, good to see them out there. Dorian Singer, second leading receiver in the Pac-12 last year, all wearing USC uniforms. There's a whole bunch of photos I took of the guys that are up on the site. Of course, Chris's Ghost Notes are amazing. Make sure you check it out. All the notes after each and every spring practice. There won't be one today, but instant analysis, all those up there. A lot of stories, interviews, a lot of videos up on our YouTube channel. So make sure you go check that stuff out up there. But it was good to be back. There was practice number 7. So we're about the halfway point of spring football. I don't know. So practice was canceled today. We don't know if there's going to be a makeup practice. All we were told is the next availability for us will be Saturday Zoom call with Lincoln Riley. So we get to talk to him after their practice. So I don't know. Maybe they're practicing in secret today. I'm not sure. But we're about the halfway mark of spring football, Chris.
Yeah, I mean, it's always fun to have the conspiracy theories as to why there's no practice. The weather's been crappy the last couple days. There's been talk of maybe it's thunderstorms. They want to get ahead of it. There's also Duce Robinson will be committing during practice, or when they're wrapping up practice, they'll be done. But I don't think you would move practice just to watch the commitment of one player. I mean, what kind of message would that send to the team to not hold practice to watch a commitment happen? So that's most likely not the reason, but we'll do some digging, see what comes up. But yeah, it's interesting. There will be no practice. I'm sure Lincoln will be asked about it on a Saturday, like, hey, will there be a makeup practice? Do you guys practice on another day that's usually off? So we'll see what happens there. But yeah, we're at the halfway point of practice. Everything has been moving along. This is a different feel. The spring camp is different than last year. Just more competition. The guys have more focus just because they're not learning a new offense. They're not learning a new defense. They can really just kind of hone in on mastering plays, taking their play to another level within the system. So that's kind of the biggest difference. And now we're halfway. Still wanting to talk to some guys, Sierra Wright, I think we were supposed to talk to him today, who's had a really, really good spring camp, according to Lincoln Riley, seen his game move to another level after, last season with getting that starting role and getting some starting experience. So that's a good sign to hear because they need someone to step up with Mekhi Blackman gone.
Yeah. That's going to be something to watch. We didn't get to see Christian Roland Wallace out there yet. He's been banged up a little bit, so like to see what he can do. But Sierra Wright, one of those guys. I think Jack Smith pointed out, he's like one of the few starters we haven't really talked to yet, right? So, but yeah, we tried to talk to a lot of people. You can check out all the videos up over at uscfootball.com. One of the guys that's going to be interesting to watch is Raleek Brown, the running back who's been apparently getting more time in the slot, and Lincoln Riley talked about him a little bit. I think Kiel McDonald, the running back coach, did a little bit too. But Riley's comments were interesting just because, saying that it's not easy for college players to play multiple positions, not just physically, but just mentally trying to learn both spots. So he seemed to have high praise for Brown kind of coming in there and doing both of those roles.
Right. And just a small plug,
Okay.
If you're a Peristyle member, you will know you knew that the move for slot was coming because I actually reported it in the War Room before spring camp started that Raleek Brown was going to be playing slot receiver in camp. So just a little plug right there for the War Room. But this shouldn't come as a big surprise because if you knew Raleek Brown's recruitment, you knew that he was such a high-level offensive player that some schools were looking at him as a wide receiver. And he was pretty confident that, I want to play both in college. I can play both in college. He can be a really good slot receiver. And actually, I believe the plan was initially for him to come in when he enrolled as a freshman to start off in the wide receiver room just to get that early jump on it. It ended up happening that way. He's more of a running back his first year. Now he's expanding his role to the wide receiver room and position. So he's, a deadly slot receiver. He's so quick, he's so tiny, and he's got amazing hands. So it's a really good move. And that USC running back room is pretty stacked, with Austin Jones, Marshawn Lloyd, 2 freshmen in there, Darren Barlow itching for more carries. Raleek Brown is so unique compared to those other guys. He's the smallest guy in there, probably the quickest guy in there. So use him and put him out in the slot. Just look for more mismatches, and take more advantage of his skill set and just find ways to get the ball in his hand, even if it's not in the backfield, taking carries like a normal running back. He's so much more versatile than a standard running back. So any way you can get the ball in his hands is a benefit for that offense.
For sure. Going back to, I've taken up some of the photos I took, so I put up the Raleek Brown photo, but it's also more depth at the running back position, and Kiel McDonald talked about that a little bit. And Lincoln Riley said that it was a little bit easier to move Raleek Brown when there wasn't as many running backs when there were more running backs, because now you're not losing another body there. But got some new faces in that running back room, and Kiel McDonald seemed pretty happy about it.
They're definitely a lot deeper than last season with the addition of the 2 freshmen and then Marshawn Lloyd coming in. I know Kiel McDonald's really happy about the depth that he has built for this season, and those 2 running backs, he was really impressed. Quentin Joyner, Marion Peterson, early enrollees. He was very high on them. He said, they've had some freshman mistakes. They made some busts. But that happens when you're a freshman in college, moving to a college offense or a college defense. So that's not a surprise, but he was very excited about the potential that they're going to be very, very good running backs here at USC. And specifically about Marion Peterson, he's a big guy. He's like 6'2", maybe not 6'2", but he's 6'1" area, like 220 pounds. He's a big dude. And Kiel McDonald, talking about pass blocking, noted that he is a big dude and he is physical and he is going to put his face mask in your face. So looks like the freshman Peterson is already making a name for himself as a pass blocker, which, no surprise, just look at him. He is a big running back. Quentin Joyner's more so that explosive running back, so kind of the lightning to Peterson's thunder, if you will. So I'm excited to see those guys get some carries and see what they can do in the spring game. Running back is an interesting position because it's a position much like wide receiver. You can come in as a freshman and be a star, be an early impact player. And it's not like defensive line or offensive line where the jump from high school to college is vast. Running back, you can be a dude your first year as a freshman. So excited to see which of those guys emerges, or both of those guys emerge, or at what point they start to maybe push for some touches into the season.
Yeah, I put a picture up of Peterson up there, and the picture I have is him coming up the tunnel without his jersey on, and he just looks like a big guy, seemed like a really nice kid. I got to chat with him like a little bit, during before spring ball, just kind of in passing, and it was like, oh yeah, it was a personal kid, got a lot of size. It'll be fun to see kind of what he's able to do out there. All right, so running backs, things to be in a good spot. I thought what he said, Lincoln Riley said about Greg Brown and his role with the defense was interesting because, he comes in, over 40 years of like coaching experience, NFL, SEC, and Riley kind of relayed the story where if say you're like a linebacker coach and you're coming in and like, hey, we're seeing a problem with the defense, it's sort of like through the eyes of where the linebacker spot is. Well, is he really worried about what the corner's doing or what the defensive tackle's doing? And having a guy like Greg Brown come in, really from a 35,000 foot view, not from any particular point. He's just looking at everything, and it's like outsider's eyes, but also not from a particular position. And it feels like there's one of these things where Lincoln Riley's like, hey, we're going to bring in someone, and I forget somebody similar did the same thing for him at Oklahoma, but come in and kind of take a look at what the defense is from a different set of eyeballs. And I thought it was interesting, and it definitely helps. It seems like it's right out of the the Nick Saban sort of playbook, where you bring in like an experienced coach that's not really there to be a yes man. He's just going to tell you like, hey, this sucks. You should probably fix this. So yeah, I don't think it can hurt.
You can't go wrong with another pair of eyes to just give a look for something, an issue, or a problem, or something that's not working, because obviously things weren't working for USC's defense. So they need more opinions to be in that room, to be like, hey, why don't we try this? Or, why don't we do it this way? Or I've seen it done this way. Just another voice, another person that's, probably forgotten more about football than a lot of those guys know about football. So he just walks like an old ball coach. If you know what I'm saying, if you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about, just the way he walks. It's just a football coach, a guy who's been there, who's been doing it all his life. So he has a lot of knowledge, a lot of experience, a lot of things he can, communicate to the guys or the younger coaches. So just good. And it's like you said, he's not just focusing on like the defensive backs or the cornerbacks, which is his expertise, but he's just there to give a overview of everything that's going on with the defensive side of the ball. Just a senior consultant to look over things and speak up when he thinks something needs to be talked about.
Yeah. Gmart Live is in the chat.
No way.
He is.
No
He says,
way.
Chris can't get away with being this low key like this on the Cilantro cast.
It's because I got to run the show.
Yeah.
I got to run the show on the Cilantro cast.
Yeah. Welcome the chat, G-Mart.
Gerard has fully embraced the cilantro meme. He wasn't like about it early on, and now it's like he's sending me pictures of chopped up cilantro. He's like all in on it.
He says, "Oh, I've been spotted." Yeah, you've been spotted. I can see. Like,
Yeah, get him, chat. Boot that man.
He said that the chat's kind of dead. You got to get more energy.
Look, this isn't a composite. I don't know what to tell you. This isn't a composite live.
Yeah. But it's good to
How
have.
many degenerates are watching?
We got 112 degenerates in there, including Gerard.
Yeah, I mean, well, Gerard, yes. We call them filthy casuals on our show. The
Yeah.
degenerates on the Peristyle.
Jump in there, degenerates. Get all over Gerard. Ask him any kind of recruiting questions you want in the chat. Get in there. It's good to see. It's good to see Gerard back there, though. But yeah, I think Greg Brown's addition is only going to help, and just having another point of view. And I think when Sark brings in, was it Gary Patterson? It's like former head coach. Like, oh, like come in and be a consultant. I mean, those guys aren't afraid to say what's on their mind. Like, he's not going to come in and be like, I'm really worried about if I say this, like Alex Grinch is going to get mad or Lincoln Riley's going to be mad. No, he's going to be like, boom, here's what I'm seeing. Why the hell are you doing this? Blah, blah, blah. And I think that can only help. We talked about the depth at running back, which was bueno. Depth at tight end, no bueno. And if you see the end of our intro, you got Malcolm Epps catching that touchdown pass. I think he only had like 3 catches last year. He's in the portal. Ethan Ray processed out. They only really got 2 healthy tight ends right now. One of them was a linebacker last year.
And he didn't play last year.
Yeah.
He didn't practice last year.
Lake McRee, he looks studly. Maybe they get some help at 5 or 6:30 today. Maybe Gerard can answer that. Like, Gerard, is it 5:30 Pacific or is it 5:30 or is it 6:30 Pacific? What are we talking here? I don't care about mountain time. I don't know whatever that is. Tell me what it is here. Put that in there, Gerard. So they might get some help later this afternoon with Duce Robinson, the 5-star tight end. But yeah, Lincoln Riley kind of joked around like, yeah, not a lot of depth there. It's sort of like this position that you would like to have, but you don't necessarily need it. You'll get the occasional touchdown catch from that spot, which we saw last year, but not necessarily the volume that you were getting out of multiple wide receivers that had big, it could be a Taj Washington or it was, if it was Kyle Ford one day or a Brendan Rice another day or, any of those guys, like they could have big games. We didn't really see that kind of out of any of the tight ends, but it sounds like Lake McRee has some potential. Obviously, Duce Robinson would have some of that potential. But yeah, the depth right there is not great, I guess you could say.
I'm not just saying this because Gerard is in the chat right now, but he did a very good breakdown of the tight end room and kind of the importance of it or what it could be now that Lincoln Riley is getting more of the guys that fit his system or what that position could evolve into as Lincoln Riley continues to expand the offense now that he's at USC. He didn't really have the body types that he sort of wanted last season. Now he's got Lake McRee. He was injured last spring, so he didn't really have that chemistry and that connection in the offense. So he started a little bit late, but we know his potential. We saw it his freshman year. You get a guy like Duce Robinson. That's a downfield weapon. That's a big flexed out wide receiver. And then you have Carson Tabarachi and Cade Eldridge, who will be there in the summer. They're more H-back bodies. Both of those guys played running back in high school. They fit that H-back position to a T. Guys that are kind of smaller than a traditional tight end. They can block. They can literally run the ball. They can catch out of the backfield because they are now tight ends. They are tight ends. So they add that extra little wrinkle, that little element that Lincoln Riley didn't have last season and can put in for 2023. And then Jude Wolfe, when he comes back healthy, he's kind of like an in-between of, a flexed out tight end, wide receiver, that Y position, and a guy who can block, maybe catch out of the backfield. That's what he was playing in spring, the H-back role, before he injured his foot last season. So we'll see where he ends up in the summer, but he's a guy who feels like he can play both of those positions at 6'6", play that Y position or go back to the H-back role, which he was going to play last season. So it just is a more versatile group going into 2023. USC fans crossing their fingers that Duce Robinson is the cherry on top for the position going into next season, but we'll have to see. But overall, I think Lincoln's going to be able to do a lot more with the tight end position in 2023 than he was last season.
Yeah. We have some breaking news was going on. Not just is Gerard in the chat.
As I was just talking?
Yes. Money Manford's in the chat.
Oh.
Just because Gerard shows up, he's here and donates $5. It's super chat. So this isn't the donation show. That's the Cilantro Boy. We got to get you guys in studio again and do another
Money Bags Manford.
Yeah,
in
thanks.
the building.
Thank you
I need an applause.
He didn't even.
I need an applause.
I got to get an applause.
You don't have an applause? You have an applause.
I don't think I do I?
I'm like pretty sure.
I used to.
Oh well. I'm sorry, Money
yes.
Bags Manford. You just there. That's fine. I'll take that.
I need to.
The legend.
Yeah,
He could fund USC's entire NIL operation on his own.
I love it. Thanks for the donation.
There's no question. It's just
no. He just said fight
okay.
on. Yeah, I put that in there and stuff.
There you go.
We do have some Duce questions and stuff coming up. So if you do have a question, I will star it and we'll get to it a little bit later in the show if you want to do that. But the first part we're just kind of going over some of the news things. Lincoln Riley, I think he started talking about Devin Tompkins, mostly playing like the 3 technique, but sort of where he's been moved around, and just sort of in general the bodies on the defensive line. I mean, to me it looks a lot different, Chris. I put that picture up. Having bars there. Anthony Lucas just looks like a dude like. Riley talked a little bit about you can't just have like one guy. I believe it was Riley talking about this. Having one guy that like gets all the sacks, right? This is more of it's going to be more of a group sort of effort. Like there's no Thule, but you need more guys that are going to produce. So Tompkins seems like he could be one of those guys.
Right. You can have a Thule, but you just need some other guys to be making plays as well and not put it all on one guy's shoulders. And that's the hope for this year. You hope Anthony Lucas can break out as a sophomore. Only played in 7 games as a true freshman at Texas A&M. Got to get some sacks. Got to get to the quarterback. You're hoping some of those guys take a step forward. Tyrone Taleni was a 7.5 tackles for a loss last year. You hope he can still be productive. You're hoping a Keon Bars, all Pac-12, second team all Pac-12 guy at Arizona can make the jump and can give more pass rush consistently in the middle of the defense. And yeah, the body types, they're looking different than they were last year. Keon Bars, noticeably. Anthony Lucas, that's an SEC body, a 5-star guy. And Devin Tompkins is joining a lot of praise. He's still growing, and I'm not really sure what his role will look like in 2023. I hope he does get some playing time. And you mentioned, playing a little bit of the 3, playing a little bit of the edge. They're moving him around. And Lincoln said, with the 3, it's more so maybe kind of looking ahead to what his body type will be in the future. As Gerard likes to say, embracing that inner Bubba. He's 6'6", 260 pounds. You can put another 25 pounds on him, 285, 275. Get him up there, 290. If you really want to go all the way, he can handle that frame, but you just got to keep adding and adding. So I'm interested to see what his role is going to look like in 2023. Remember, still a raw guy. Didn't play high school football until his senior year, really. He was a basketball guy, played in 1 game and got like 15 scholarship offers. They saw that potential. And, he's still learning the game, still learning at the college level, but I'm hoping he can get some, maybe some garbage time, maybe some third quarter action, some when the game's starting to get pulled away, just get some experience that he can build on moving forward. And maybe he's a guy down the line, in that back half of the season, which can play a role for them.
Yeah, for sure. Another guy that USC fans I know are hoping to play a role, Corey Foreman. We didn't talk to him or about him on Tuesday, but if you remember on Saturday when Lincoln Riley had his Zoom call, he did mention that. And I thought one of the interesting aspects of that was talking about sort of stacking good days together, where there would be, last year you would have just see flashes from Corey Foreman, And then, he might not practice for the next couple of practices or something. And now it's more about stacking good days on top of each other. So good practice followed by a good practice followed by a good practice. But I guess maybe a little leaner, moving positions a little bit. But any thoughts on Corey Foreman, Chris? I'll put up a photo here.
That was obviously the big thing with him, is just staying on the field, being consistent. And like you said, the whole cliche of stacking days, which every time you asked about Corey Foreman, that felt like the first thing out of the coach's mouth was like, stack those days, build and build. And Lincoln Riley, gave a big quote. He said, he's a much better player than he was 12 months ago, and it's not even close. So you love to hear that as a Corey Foreman fan, among USC fans who really want, the former number one overall player to break out. They need some more of that pass rush skills. He's moving from rush end to defensive line. Given his size, he's probably going to be just a straight edge rusher, hand on the ground, 5 technique, whatever it may be. He's a little bit slimmer than he was last year, but, power has not really been a concern for him. He's a strong guy. He's a really fast guy. He can beat tackles off the edge. He just needs to do it, on a Saturday, do it in a game and can get to the quarterback. We saw a couple times where he, would influence a play, but, didn't actually get to the quarterback. You want to see more of that, but you want to see him finishing in the backfield. That was something Roy Manning talked about. Like, they didn't have enough guys getting to the quarterback, but they also didn't have enough guys when they got there finish off the play. So they need more guys to finish off the play, and the defense would be a lot better suited moving forward if that's the case for this front.
For sure. All right. I think that was all we had. Anything else? So we mentioned Duce Robinson already. I think we have a question on that too. I don't know if G-Mart's still in the chat, but good to...
He left. You asked him to do something, and he was like, I'm not going to do that. I'm out.
I asked him to do something? I didn't ask him to do anything, did I?
What time?
Oh, I asked him what time?
He's like, nah, I'm out of here. I'm out of here.
All right, fine. Well, why don't we take a quick break, and we will come back and answer some questions. If you have questions in the chat, we'll do that. But also, we got some emails and voicemail and stuff to get to. So back in a minute. All right, we're back here on the Peristyle Podcast.
We're back.
We're back, baby. We got to talk some, USC spring football. We got some questions, the Duce Robinson thing. But, this is the favorite part of the show, right?
3 simple words.
You've got mail.
Woohoo!
Yeah, it's fun to hear from people. We mentioned Duce Robinson. I do have a voicemail, Chris, so I'm going to play it for you.
You've been saving it.
I think it was... they probably meant it for the Cilantro Boys show, but we'll play it here.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
This message is for Gerald and Chris. With Duce's impending commitment and the 2023 class being the best in the Pac-12, should Lincoln Riley jack Dan Lanning's cigar? And what does this say about USC's ability to take back the West? Eddie from Orange, currently on Waikiki Beach.
Wow.
Wow.
Pretty nice. I think he put something in the chat, too, about that also.
Is he in the chat? He's in Waikiki Beach, and he's in the chat?
Yeah. He put it, here, I'll put it up on the screen. He said, he said, if or when Duce commits, does Dan Lanning have to send Lincoln Riley a Cuban cigar?
So he just posted that right now.
Yeah, he's in the chat.
Okay,
Waikiki
well,
Beach.
Eddie, while you were in the chat right now, I just want to confirm you're watching this while you're in Hawaii?
Well, he sent the voicemail when he was in Hawaii, so maybe he's back now.
I don't know. Maybe he just sent it. I don't know. Let us know, because you're real degenerate if you're watching the show while you're in paradise.
The voicemail was from yesterday.
So come on. Come on, Eddie. We're not better than Hawaii, I'll tell you that much right now. But does he have to send him a cigar? Dan Lanning have to send? Was that the question?
Yeah, I think so. Should send him a cigar. Take back the West.
He won't. But it does says a lot about USC taking back the West just to lock up not only the number one wide receiver in Zachariah Branch, but the number one tight end
Yeah.
in the country. Obviously, you want, to be able to expand that to more defensive players. You missed out on some it'll say more about with the upcoming 2024 class, with DeAndre Carter, Brandon Baker, the number one offensive tackle in the country, right there at Mater Dei in your backyard. This is more like a primer. I think 2024, you're going to know a lot more about USC locking up the West Coast, especially with those two big bodies, positions you need, positions, that national programs are trying to come in and take away from you. It'll say a lot more about USC's ability to lock up the West with those two offensive linemen right there.
He said he's loving beach life and he's flying back today. So he is definitely spending some of his vacation watching us, which, everyone makes life choices.
Everyone makes life choices. I appreciate the dedication. But, I'm going to be honest, Brian, I would not be watching you if I was on the beach.
That is unbelievable. It's insulting.
I'm going to be honest on this show,
You should be honest.
I'm going to be honest on this show.
We had a very long voicemail from Ben, which I'm not going to play because it's over like 2 minutes long.
2 minutes?
Yeah, we can't do that.
Goodness.
But he's a longtime listener. He's talking about listening to like Jack Sullivan, Keon Bars, Mason Cobb, their interviews. He was making it from. I'm just bless you.
Excuse me.
The general gist of his
Question.
voicemail and the question was about them kind of like learning their system and kind of thinking what to do. And he brought it back to criticism of Alex Grinch, basically saying that it's making things too complicated. You have to be like extremely smart, and he'd rather just see guys out there playing, with their athletic ability. So it's just sort of like a paraphrase version of a very long voicemail. But sort of any thoughts on that? He thinks the defense is going to be the same because
too complex.
it's too complex, basically.
For new guys to learn.
Yeah, I think just in general.
I mean, you might have a point. We've heard, the criticism that maybe it is a little bit too complex or what have you. But it's also spring ball. It's like this is where you take the time to learn a new system, to get adjusted. I mean, these guys have been playing in one system for most of their college careers. Oklahoma State, Keon Bars at Arizona, and then Jack Sullivan at Purdue. They've been used to one system and they've been doing it one way. And sometimes you have to learn something new. It takes a little bit of time. I mean, but Keon Bars seems to be running with the first team, and Jack Sullivan seems to be running with the second team. Mason Cobb with the second team too. So I wouldn't say the learning curve is that detrimental to them, but it is spring. This is the time to learn a new system and to get comfortable with the system. We saw that. I mean, we saw Eric Gentry coming in the summer, and then he was the starter. A couple months later, didn't get any spring ball. So I think the ability is there to have this down by the time summer rolls around. We saw Eric jump into it quickly and master, or not master, but be good enough to play the Mike linebacker for most of the year before he got hurt after, a little bit of rotation, but eventually took it over.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, Ben. Yeah, voicemail's great. We love them, but just try to keep them like a minute. If they're like a lot longer than that, it makes it significantly tougher. We can't play those really long ones. We had a text from Brandon from Minnesota. Who do you think will be the breakout player this year that didn't play a significant role last year?
Interesting.
So I don't know if that's only returning people that didn't play, or if it's going to be, new guys.
Well, the easy one for me is Zion Branch.
Yeah,
That's the easy one for me. He didn't play at all last year.
Right.
And big time safety, 6'1", 210 pounds. But, different than any other safety they have on the roster. Fast enough to cover big tight ends, big enough to almost be like a linebacker down line of scrimmage. So I would say Zion Branch.
Interesting.
My pick.
What about like guys that are that were around last year that just didn't play a big role?
Does Lake McRee count?
I was thinking Lake McRee.
He played a role. I wouldn't say it was
wasn't
a huge
big role.
It's not like Darwin Barlow, who didn't maybe played in like 3 games. I think Lake played in every game, save for one, but
It just didn't do much.
Just didn't, I think he led the tight ends in receptions, but it wasn't a lot of receptions, so he could have a big step forward this year with the new tight ends. Obviously, if Duce comes, maybe that shortens his playing time a bit, but we know Lake can make plays, and he's gotten some praise in spring camp, as we talked about, so he would be one to pick.
I would think in like Rajon Davis potentially.
That's a good one.
Someone that came on late. I don't think you could do Brendan Rice because he played a bunch, but I think he's going to have a much bigger role this year. Maybe Jacoby Covington.
Yeah, that's a good one. He
looks jacked.
He flashed a lot at the end of the year, pushed Share right for kind of a rotation in that starting position opposite Blackman. And yeah, if he wins that job outright, he could be the guy.
Or Damani Jackson.
Damani Jackson too. I'm sticking with my Zion Branch pick.
So if I'm going to include new guys, I was thinking of this in the terms of like people that were on the team last year. I think like Keon Bars might be, just someone that's you just need big bodies. It could be Anthony Lucas too, but I think those guys could come in and just like, wow, could have used those guys last year kind of thing. You know what I mean? Could be something like that. So we will see. Thank you for that question. We got the long voicemail. Let's go. We have a couple more questions in the chat, and then I think that would be it. This is from Howell. If Duce commits, don't we still need to see how high he is drafted in the Major League Baseball draft?
Yes. Just because he commits to USC or Georgia or Texas or whatever, that school still has to get over the final hump, which would be the MLB draft in July, I believe the 17th or something like that. So they still have to get over that. Duce could commit, but obviously he could sign with a professional team in July if he's drafted high enough and he gets the right amount of money, that's being offered. I believe we've talked about it being like around the 3rd round type money to him for maybe to think about not going to college and not playing baseball and football and seeking, small minor league or whatever professional contract, whatever happens there. But yeah, so just because he commits today does not mean he's going to be he'll be on the roster come the fall or summer.
Okay.
Still have to get over the MLB draft and what that holds.
All right. Blackie Chan says, if Duce Robinson commits to USC, do you think that he has the biggest impact out of the incoming players?
That's tough.
Yeah.
I definitely think he's in the top 3 or 4 discussion. Yeah. You have Zach Branch, you have Duce Robinson, you have Tackett Curtis, who people are really, really excited about.
Yeah.
Those would kind of be the top 3. There's probably others in that second tier, but those are probably the top 3. So I think he has a really, really good shot to. It's easier to be, it's easier to be a 6'6" wide receiver for an offense with a Heisman winner than it is to be a freshman linebacker starting at the mic like Tackett Curtis. So I would say, yeah, him and Zach would be the two to have the most impact.
I would agree with you there. Cameron says, smash that like button, you degenerates. Yes. And Gmart's back.
Okay.
He says 78.8% who watch videos do not. Please, it helps. So please smash the like button.
That's what Gerard said?
Yes. He also said, I didn't put it up on the screen. 4-hour, sorry, we'll put it up there. And he wants a 4-hour Peristyle podcast. Let's go. I don't know why that didn't pop up. Sorry, I put the wrong comment on the screen. We're not doing 4 hours.
Did
Gerard.
he do the time?
The time? No, we're like 50-minute mark, and we're already done with questions and stuff. We're gonna keep this tight. This is a little different show than the Cilantro Boys show, where they're just kind of gonna go on forever. But we would love to see Gerard back in studio doing another one of these. Since he's there, can we get a commitment from Gerard to come back in the studio? I don't know, maybe before the spring game or just after the spring game.
Yeah, ambush him. You got him in
He
there.
loves being ambushed.
Do it.
Yeah.
We're trying to get to a point where Gerard has a nice setup at his house, and then we could do more live
That would be
shows,
great.
More live shows. He does it from his garage. Which,
Yeah.
We've
got like a whole bunch of kids running around and everything.
So that's the goal.
Well,
Future.
We'll discuss this. We will discuss it. We need to make it happen because we should spare no expense when it comes to getting Gerard set up there in his home.
We can get him a nice.
Get a backdrop. I got an extra one in the other room. We can get another one. I love it.
No, I just want this one with all me and his faces and like.
Do we have the Cilantro Boys logo?
And mariachi attire.
We can make one
Yeah.
with the logo.
I want nothing USC on it. I just want all Mexican.
Okay.
I want a giant cilantro in the middle.
You can kind of.
I have the thing made up. I'll show you.
You have it? Okay. Gerard, we need to do this.
He's running.
He's ready. It's kids, not mine. Yes.
He loves to point out
his nieces
they're
and
not
nephews. Yeah.
his children.
Right. But they're still running around like crazy. Eddie's at the Hilton Hawaiian Village. That's over near where we go for
Volleyball?
yeah, for the Poly Bowl. I think that's where Brandon likes to stay. Huffman.
Eddie's doing some pre-scouting for next year's Poly Bowl.
For sure. Do you have an idea for our what we're gonna do for our screenshot?
Yeah, it's baseball, so I want.
Okay.
Were you a pitcher or were you out?
I pitched.
You pitched?
and I
Okay,
played
so you're
like
gonna
a pitcher.
pitch. I'm gonna.
Alright.
Like, I want you to pretend like you're gonna pitch to me. I'm gonna
Okay,
do this
like-
real quick. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Good. Yeah.
So do this.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can you see my arm?
Yeah, I got it.
Okay.
Perfect.
We're good. Okay.
I like it.
It's opening day. Let's get the.
It's time for Dodgers baseball. Do you go to Dodgers games at all or no?
I've been to a couple. I don't like. It's hard to get up there. I prefer Angels games because it's
Is that quicker? for you?
Parking is better. It's faster.
Less people.
Less people.
Yeah.
So I've been to a Dodger game with you.
Did we go?
Yeah.
Wait, what did we do?
Wow. We saw a Dodger game.
Oh yeah. Okay. It's been a while.
We were in the suite. We were in the suite area.
Yeah.
I doesn't even remember.
I
How
do.
dare you?
No, it's good.
And the show.
I like, yeah. I don't like to go and like, just like if you get like hookups, like if you have a friend that like kind of hooks you up there, it's nice to see.
I have a boss with the hookups. That's why I went.
It was a fun hookup. All right. Well, I think we're gonna wrap it up. That was short.
The guy who clips things, clip that. Clip that, please.
West Texas. Oh my God, I got to go through his stuff.
The next show, just do a bunch of.
West Texas Mike, I owe him an email too because he's like providing stuff for us to do.
You owe him a Trader Joe's gift card too.
I think so, but he provided like a whole bunch of clips, but this created a whole bunch of work, which, it's hard to do. But I will get to it because it's going to be worth it having like more drops and stuff on the show. All right, well, we'll wrap things up here. That was good. We had fun. It's going to be weird not going to practice this afternoon. I'm not going to lie, Chris. No practice, no bueno. But
It's like half day school.
yeah, it is. Like, oh, get to go home early. Snow day. So Gerard says, Ryan, remembering a key point in Chris's life. Yes, 100%. Yeah, Dodgers games are fun. I like going. I've been gone to a lot lately. Like I said, I've been going to a bunch more Laker games. Just easy. Go Orioles. Who did they play today?
Boston.
Oh,
I
nice.
think they're up right now. I don't.
Nice.
The dreaded Boston.
The Red Sox. They seem to like stink or be really good.
They're up 8-2. Let's go.
Wow.
Let's go O's.
West Texas Mike, I will let you know. Thank you. And subscribe, as Gerard says. Yeah, please subscribe to the Peristyle Podcast wherever you're listening. And if you're watching on YouTube, please subscribe there as well. Smash that like. Smash the subscribe. We love all that. And we love all of you for listening and watching and tuning in to our little show. But for Chris Trevino, I am Ryan Abraham. Hope you guys enjoyed the show, and we will talk to you next time.